All right, welcome to the Rogue Actors Podcast. My name is Kwabena Ampofo.
And I am Angelo Mercado.
All right, so
Wait, before we start, too sweet me, bro.
what?
Too sweet me.
What is it?
Sweet. There you go.
Too sweet. Oh man, yeah, that was the golden era
Of wrestling?
of wrestling.
When NWO came out, hell yeah.
That was definitely the golden era. For sure.
The Monday Night Wars changed the face of wrestling forever.
Bro, I mean, Lord, that was too good. I haven't followed wrestling as much as you are following it now, but there's certain things that I just remember. I'm just like, wow, I don't want to be one of those people who are like, yeah, the good old days, but
They
back
really
then,
were the
wrestling
good old
was fucking
days, yeah.
amazing back then. But yeah,
People still do the too sweet. You have like groups like the Bullet Club who try to keep the too sweet thing alive.
okay. All right. So we are back, and typically, I do not want to call out the numbers of the episodes, but this is number 8, so I'm just going to call it out. This is number 8. Going forward, I probably won't be doing that, but this is number 8, and so
This is why I wore the shirt.
the Kaiju number 8 shirt.
Episode 8.
But yeah, it's good. It's weird because we've been doing this for at least 2 months, close to 3,
Ish,
and
yeah.
we had started doing it once a week, and then it felt like we fell off, but I feel like we were still just recording things and still very active. So it was very strange because we have the Rogue Play, which is going to be our series for gaming.
Well, not just gaming. We're going to do other medias also.
gaming.
It'll be multimedia.
Yeah.
Reaction videos,
Yeah.
watch-alongs, all that type of stuff.
So then there's that, and then there was the Going Rogue, which is just whenever one of us is like, I'm gonna go off and do this thing, and so literally just like going rogue. And so that was me, for example, recording with Lamont, and so that's fun, and it's just been really cool to be able to just flex the creative muscles just doing this.
Oh yeah.
And so shout out to everybody who watches.
Not only that, but our episode with Gina did really well. So
Yes.
we've had a couple of people reach out to us afterwards saying that they'd like to also be interviewed on the show. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Look forward to more guests.
Yes. So that's real dope. And at some point, I'm gonna have to interview you because
I'm the guest.
Yeah, you're gonna be the guest because shout out to you for booking a role on a major feature film.
Oh
yes.
Oh, right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So well, what's funny is people when they go on stage to do their acceptance speeches, they're always like, I couldn't have done this without you. In this case, I literally could have done this without you because you were the one recording me.
Yeah. I feel like it's a really cool experience to be able to record someone's audition. And then Gina mentioned this too, because now that our auditions are going through her, she gets to see the auditions that lead to avail checks,
Right.
pins, holds, bookings, and that kind of thing. And I feel like that's just always cool because, yeah, we recorded your audition, saw it. I mean, I saw it clearly, and then sent it out, got the avail check. I was like, okay. And then you get the booking. I'm like, yeah. And then also, it was a rehearsal.
So we didn't record like a traditional take.
Yeah.
We were like, I was trying to get the lines right. So I was like, let's do some rehearsals before we start recording. I didn't know you had already started recording. So, like you come in, like I'm like line, and then you're like line, and then all of a sudden I'm like, yawning because I'm tired. And then we finish, I stay in character, and we finish the scene. And then I turn around, and I'm like, hey, sorry, I didn't really get my sleep last night. And then we decided you showed me that you recorded it, and then we watched it. And then at that point, we decided there was no need to do like a traditional take. That was like, let's just send that one in.
Just send that one in. Yeah, and that worked out super dope. And then I also recall you, after you got the avail check, it was sometime later, not very long after, but sometime later, you told me you had that whole Spidey sense thing going on, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so you want me to talk about the Spidey sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it wasn't like I mean, I guess you could call it a Spidey sense. But so let's start at the beginning. We recorded this tape maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
And it's a feature film. So with feature films, casting tends to go a little bit slower than TV, because with TV, you would get the avail check within the next couple of days or the following week. This was a month ago.
Yeah.
And then like all that time goes by. I completely forgot about the audition altogether. And then my manager emails me, say, hey, they really liked your tape. They thought you did a fantastic job, and they wanted to get your availability. So they want you to answer these questions. I answered the questions, gave them my availability and my where I'm living and all the stuff that they asked for.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I let it go off into the ether. I'm like, all right, cool, an avail check. You know, I've gotten a few of those. You don't put too much weight into that. And then like another week goes by. And then, I decided to look up the project because, it came up to in my head. I'm like, oh, wait, let's see what this thing is about. So
Yeah.
I Googled the project. I'm looking up the director. I'm like, oh, cool. I'd love to work with him. Then I look at the stars. Like, oh, these dudes are amazing. I want to work with them.
Yeah.
And then I just started reading the synopsis of what the movie's about. And then all of a sudden, my mind just goes completely blank. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just scrolling and just looking at the synopsis of the movie, and then just completely no thoughts, just doom scrolling with the mouse like this. And then all of a sudden, I feel this like weird feeling in my chest. Like when you hear good news, you start to feel excited. The first thing that you feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
When you're like really happy about something, so I feel that. And then all of a sudden I start to feel like my adrenaline just like spreading out. And then I get this big cheesy grin on my face. And then my coworker turns around and asks like, are you okay? Everything all right over there? Like, yeah, no, I'm totally fine. And like, what's with that big cheesy smile? Like, I have no idea. I just feel good, and I just start, and then my whole body from head to toe just starts to feel excited. Like, I just want to get up and I want to jump, and I don't know why. Like, I just get this feeling, and I'm trying to analyze the feelings as they come one after another, this big burst of feelings, and I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah.
And then I give you the call. I like, hey, I don't know what's happening, but, like I'm sitting here, my mind completely blank, and all of a sudden, and then, I go into like all these feelings that I start to feel. And then the very next day, I get the email from my manager say, hey, we're booking you for this project.
Man. No, that's a gift. That's truly a gift. It's like in a video game where you unlock a latent ability, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, right, Spidey sense unlocked, right?
Just like temporarily tuned into like a higher power for like a second there.
Yeah, just to be able to get that download. Be like, yeah, all right, yeah, you got this. This. Yeah, so no, that's real dope. As always, congrats, homie, for real.
Thank you, man.
It's one of those things where I'm here with you not every day, but very frequently, every week, where we're just, doing this, but then also recording auditions, reading lines, and just talking about the business and all these different kinds of things. And it's tough at times because you can go a long stretch of time and not book anything, and kind of feel some kind of way about it, like for sure, the human thing is to be like, all right, what's happening here? What's going on? And to be honest, this podcast has helped a lot with that for me, just because I just get to come in here and then just check in and do the thing and be like, all right, regardless of whether or not people out there are looking for me in terms of auditions and projects and so on and so forth, I get to just show up and do this.
Right.
And
these are the conversations that we have on a regular basis anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I always gain something from our talks. So why not share it with the world?
Yeah. And so that's real cool. And so you have that coming up, and that's super exciting. And I feel as if though, again, the first episode we did was about momentum, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny, you just look back 8 episodes or whatever, like to episode 1, and you can see the momentum building in terms of where we started, energy level wise in that episode, and then getting to this point. Because it was funny, I was talking to somebody today, and she was like, she watched one of the pods. I think she said like episode 3 or something.
Okay.
And she was like, "You look like you need a hug."
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And to be fair, the first few episodes,
You probably did need a hug.
yeah, I was definitely kind of just in it, just like Batman broody and like all that kind of shit going on. And I think that was just the nature of
just where we were at the
where
time.
we were. Just something just needed to just like come out and just through and out, and to have someone see that and reflect that back, and I'm like, yeah, you are correct. Most likely, definitely, did need, a hug, whether it was a physical hug or someone in the comments being like, what y'all are doing is fucking great. Keep at it.
Yes.
Like that kind of thing.
We really appreciate anything that people say in the comments. We've had a lot of comments on the Instagram videos, especially the ones with Gina. Some people disagreeing with some of the information, and that's great. It's wonderful to have that type of discourse with anyone. And on YouTube, the positive comments that we've been getting there, and the positive comments and the engagement that we've been getting on TikTok has been amazing.
Yeah. And one thing that I also know that I don't do is I don't look into the camera and be like, if you like what it is that you're listening to and seeing, like, subscribe, share. But
for real, if you do like what you see, like, subscribe, and share.
Well, it's interesting because it's my feeling, my knowing that if I come across something that really resonates with me, I will just naturally, like. And then if I see that there's someone that I could send it to who might really get it or who needs to see it, I'll share. But I realize that even there are times where I don't. And whatever I watched did have some kind of impact. But I do notice that if someone says, like, subscribe, share, chances are I'm more likely to do it.
Well, it's because sometimes there's so much content that you're trying to consume online, you get caught up in the trap of doom scrolling, even on YouTube. You watch a video and then you scroll to the next one. And then when the person gives you the like, subscribe, you're like, oh, well, I did like that video, so I should give him that like.
Yeah.
Because you get caught up in the trap of just like scrolling video after video after video after video. And it's good to like take a pause and, when you appreciate what somebody else is doing, just, give them their roses.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that I'm going to go and sit back with is I would definitely still like to get better at the social media game when it comes to sharing these videos and so on and so forth, because I enjoy doing this, and I feel as if though we definitely do get viewers who enjoy this, right? Because when I check all the analytics and stuff, I see that there are viewers.
Yeah.
Or, there are people who are watching it. And sometimes, the views don't necessarily match up with likes and the number of subscribers and all that kind of thing. And so part of it is that I don't want to get too caught up in all of the numbers and the analytics, because I know that we just keep doing this and it'll, be what it has to be. Then there's also the business sense, just like we were talking about with Gina, where, if you dive into anything like this, got to have at least some kind of business acumen to be able to make it all work out.
Right, because, in all essence, the Rogue Actors is a brand.
Yeah, it's a brand.
Now that we've established it, it's a brand. So we have to treat it as such and advertise it as such.
Yeah. So that is also another nod to anybody who's out there who's like, hey, you know what? I can help you all out with your SEO and your titling and labeling and all these different kinds of things on the production side. It'd be real dope.
Or if anybody's willing to help us even with the social media portion of it, that'd be a great help, because you're doing most of the editing yourself, and it's hard to find the time to do everything. So if anybody else wants to pitch in any way, shape, or form, just reach out.
Yeah, that would be super dope. I feel that I had Lamont mention this to me too. But he was saying that he just hasn't seen me really this
consistent.
This consistent.
He said the same thing to me. He's like, I haven't seen Qua become this consistent in a long time and this excited.
Yeah.
And I see it too. It's awesome, because we're both very much in the I lift things up and put them down portion in life. So it's kind of great that we found something that we're both having so much fun doing, and we're just kind of sticking with it.
Yeah. So definitely going to keep up with this. And then I think it's also fun because if I wanted to, for example, I could go back to episode, let's just say 1, right? And then I could see where we were at in terms of just how we were feeling about the industry and everything. And then I can come back here and be like, okay, he booked this role on this feature film, and I can remember just X amount of episodes ago how he was feeling about the state of his career and
right.
And
that's just the nature of this business. There's so many ebbs and flows that if you can't go along with the ups and the downs, it'll just drive yourself crazy. The amount of rejection that you get in this industry, it's very heavy. So you need to have a strong back to sustain it.
Yeah.
And as far as how I feel about the industry now, I feel fantastic. Not just that, not just the booking on that, but not just the booking for that feature film. But remember, somebody reached out to me on Instagram, because they wanted me to be in their short film. I didn't even audition; they just offered me the role, which was fantastic. I ended up doing 2 plays because people reached out to me directly on social media, wanting me to be part of that. I have somebody else who reached out to me who wants to do a biopic about, actually, I don't know if I can say. So a very famous pioneer in Latin entertainment. So I'll just keep it at that. So I'll keep it as vague as that. And then somebody else is asking me to be in their play at the New York Theater Festival. So things are on the up and up right now. It's like you said before, it's the momentum.
Yeah. And so just shout out to that. Shout out to everybody who is just continuing to show up, because I've been saying that the last 2 weeks. People are like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm here. I'm just showing up. And that's literally it. I'm just showing up. What I'm showing up for, I don't even know. I'll find out when I get there.
Well, that's what I love about the that greeting in patois. When Jamaicans, when they greet each other, a lot of times they'll say, Wagwan, brethren, or what's going on. And the typical response to that is, Mia there, which means, I'm here. That's all you can be. It's just, I'm here,
I'm
here.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. I feel as if, though, anything else past that is me just trying to make up shit.
Yeah.
But it's I'm here. That's it.
But what's funny about that is that people at work, they say good morning to each other at my survival job. I'll come in and then somebody will ask me, how you doing today, Angelo? And then I'll give them an answer. And then every single person that I talked to that morning, they're like, the way that you answer that question always brings such a smile to my face. It makes me feel happy that I come into work and, and I get that type of energy.
Yeah.
Because I change it up every day, like, oh, how you doing today? Like, I'm fantastic. I'm phenomenal. I'm glorious,
Yeah.
And it always brings a smile to other people's faces, even on the group chat, the team chat. Everybody's like, good morning, team. Good morning, team. And then I'll come up with some like off the wall thing, and it just makes people happy.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy because I'm an entertainer.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes as well. Just the greetings, right? Sometimes someone will ask me how I'm doing, and honestly, a lot of the time, pretty fucking fantastic. Yeah, there are definitely times where, just as with everyone else, you're feeling a little bit bleh and so on and so forth.
I mean, there's a lot of times where even I'm feeling bleh.
Yeah.
But then when somebody asks me and I say, I'm feeling fantastic, it actually kind of helps lift me up too.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think it is the sheer act of somebody just asking to give you that little jolt to be like, how am I doing? All things considered, just puts it into perspective. You know what? Doing pretty damn good. Yeah. Sometimes even fantastic. I feel as if though, let's say that I show up to a job.
Okay.
Right? For example, if I'm doing a brand ambassador job, shout out to Vanessa. Yeah, shout out
Vanessa.
Shout out to V for holding us all, holding us down, propping us up.
And don't you guys worry, she'll be here as a guest on this podcast very soon.
Yes. So sometimes, when I go to do the brand ambassador jobs, there's something about showing up, because it's almost like showing up to set. It really is, because I go there and there are all of these, many of them are other actors.
Yeah.
So I'm going to meet all of these other actors. We're being given these roles to play. And people ask me how I'm doing, and I'm like, I'm great, because I'm here and I'm doing the thing. And I know that I'm going to be serving individuals who, for them, this is going to be, their first time experience, or whatever it is that I'm doing. For example, it'll be their first time experiencing it, even if I'm, saying the same script or speech or activation, whatever, over and over and over again, right? For example, sometimes when I work the U.S. Open, doing the brand ambassador work with some of those brands, I may be showing someone the same exact activity over and over and over again, but it's their first time seeing it. And so there's something about that where it definitely brings, the showman out to be like, it's theater, and it's live theater in that sense, to make it magical for this individual who's coming up and just wanting to have a great time.
I feel that. And also for anybody listening who wants to get into brand ambassador work, go to 2dots.com and just fill out a profile and try your luck.
Yeah. Is it 2 Dots or is it 2 Dots Productions?
They'll be able to find it.
Yeah. So just search 2 Dots Productions, and you'll
just upload a headshot and fill out a profile.
Yeah, and it's a really, really great company. They do a really good job. They treating all their brand ambassadors well and making sure everyone's well taken care of. And I've never had any issues whatsoever. And so I'm just grateful to be surrounded by good people whenever I work those events.
One of the most fun I had on a 2 Dots job was I did a brand ambassador gig for, are we allowed to mention brands?
Let's just say no.
Let's just say a very famous baking soda brand. So we went to school, to elementary schools with the baking soda, and we went from classroom to classroom teaching kids how to make homemade slime.
Yeah.
And that was so much fun. Just like how into it the kids were. And then, after you're done with the class, they all come up and give you a hug. Like, thank you so much, Mr. Angelo. Like
Yeah.
it feels nice. And
Yeah.
it was just a really fun job.
Yeah. I feel as if, though, anytime I am feeling kind of bleh or whatever, it's because I have gotten into a space where I am not, I was going to say not being of service, as in not actively engaged in some kind of activity that I can visibly see the results
Okay.
affecting like somebody else. You know what I mean? Sometimes I can, let's say that I am at home, and I have gone too far into the spiritual game in terms of reading books or researching and everything like that. The acquisition of knowledge,
Yes,
right?
and drawing your pentagrams.
Yeah, right. All that kind of stuff. And instead of taking that knowledge and applying it in ways that can benefit others, it's just more knowledge, just blah, 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 and get into this space of spouting out lots of things that I have read or seen or heard, as opposed to actually applying these things and seeing the fruits of that knowledge being applied.
100%.
Yeah. That's the one thing I keep coming back to, which is, perhaps that's just my human design, where for me to really feel just alive, it's this thing of being able to see the results of service.
Okay.
Just to be of service.
I don't know. I feel like personally, I walk through life where every day, if I can make at least one person smile, is a good day for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really it, right? It's this thing of something as simple as looking at someone and saying, those glasses look really sharp on you. Something like, what you did with your hair or whatever it is, right? Like just little things.
But there's a fine line, like, if you go up and say, oh, you should smile more. You look pretty when you smile. Don't do that.
Oh, man.
Because then you come off as a creeper, so don't do that.
Yeah, that's something, that's completely different. That's something completely different. But yeah, I feel like that's a really good marker for a day, right?
Yep.
You do something and somebody else smiles because of it. All right, you go to sleep chill. Go to sleep like, yeah. It doesn't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter what it is. That's just my goal is to at least make one person smile every day.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably why I got into this business, because I enjoy making people happy.
Yeah, I feel like that's very similar, if not the same exact thing for me. And I'll tell this story and then I'll stop talking because just because I tell too many stories. But the way that I actually started acting, or at least got interested in it, and perhaps this was my manifestation story, if you want to call it that. But I remember being at Disney World. I was a teenager. I was a teenager. And I want to say it felt like Epcot Center, but I remember people being dressed up in Western attire. So I thought that it was Frontierland, but let's just say it's Frontierland at the Magic Kingdom. And I'm walking with my mom and my younger sister, and there is this acting troupe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're putting on this show. And they're getting ready to start their next performance. And so they're pulling people from the audience. And I look over, and there was this thought that popped into my head. I don't even know if it was really a thought, but maybe it was a feeling first of, oh, this looks interesting. And it was an improv group, and they're pulling people in, and I look over, and then I had this thought of, I kind of want to do that. But then there was still me being like a bit scared to do it. So I split the difference, and I say to myself, I have this bottle of water in my hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drink this water in a very obvious manner. And the sheriff is going to see me drinking this water. And he's going to call me the town drunk. And he's going to send his deputies to come and get me because I'm like falling over. And I say that if he does that, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to perform. And if he doesn't, one meant to be. Not going to worry about it. So I have my little water bottle. I take off the cap. I do one of these things like this. Two seconds into me drinking the water, the sheriff looks over and he's like, he's falling over. Go get him. His two deputies come. They run over. As soon as they get to me, I go right into character. I just slump on their shoulders like this, and they're dragging me to the front of the audience and everything, like right into the show. And so I get up to the front of the show, and they put me next to the sheriff. And I'm probably going to ruin the show for people who don't know this, but I'm going to ruin it anyway because it makes the story that much more interesting. But they put me next up to the sheriff, and when no one is looking, he kind of like gets up close to me, taps me on the shoulder, and he says, listen, every time I tap you on the shoulder, I want you to say, I'll drink to that. And I'm still in character, so I'm like this, and I'm like, okay. And he doesn't let anybody see this. So he starts the whole show, and he's going through it, and everybody everybody has like their role. All the people that he pulls in the audience, everybody has a role. And I'm just standing there doing my whole thing like this. And I'm a teenager. I've never been drunk, but I'm doing my fucking best. And at one point, he nonchalantly taps me on the shoulder. And then I go, I'll drink to that. Because he set me up for it.
Okay.
So he did the setup, and the punchline is, I'll drink to that. And so the first time he did it, and the timing was perfect, the crowd just went fucking wild. Like the crowd is just like laughing their asses off. It was just fucking perfect.
Okay.
And it just, he goes on, he does his thing, everyone else does their thing. And every so often throughout the show, he just does the nonchalant tap on the shoulder. And I'm like, I'll drink to that. That's my only line. That's it.
And it got a reaction every time?
Every single time.
And how'd that make you feel?
Bro, I sat there and I was like, this is what I need to be doing.
That's when you got the bug?
This is what I need to be doing with my life. Yeah. Yeah, it was every single time he did it, it got a reaction. And it was a bigger reaction every time.
Okay.
And I was just like, this is fucking dope. And I go up to after the show was done, he comes up to me and he was like, dude, that was really awesome. He was like, thanks for really, rolling with it and everything like that. And I'm, oh no, thank you for bringing me on, and so on and so forth. I was like, this is really dope. I appreciated this. And then I think my mom and my little sister were looking at me and they were just like, where did that come from?
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, this was just real cool. And I can't remember this woman's name, but I did a short film some time ago. Man, it's an actor. Her real name, I believe, is Ashley. I can't remember, but she, awesome actor.
Mm-hmm.
I told her this story because it was part of a kind of like a actor meet and greet kind of thing that we did before shooting this film, so we could get to know each other. Because in the film, we're dating. And so the director, Lauren, wanted us to, just like kind of like go out on a date to kind of just, hang out and
Vibe.
vibe.
Yeah.
And she told me where that comes from. The whole I'll drink to that thing comes from. I cannot remember it. I'm not even going to try and butcher it. But I told her this same story. And she actually told me where it came from. And it was really cool because she got it. Like when I told her this whole thing, like she just really got it. And yeah, it's that. That's why I do this. Like I always go back to that as to why I do this. And I didn't pursue acting after that until my last year in college. So that was like high school, and then I went through all the way until my last year in college when I started when I joined this acting troupe. Shout out to EW. Shout out to EW from the RIT Women's Center, I believe it was, because it was an acting troupe called Staged Sex, and he was really like my first acting teacher.
Okay.
Because it was like educational theater, where we had this troupe where we just went through these scenes for the freshmen, so that they could get a sense of what they would encounter in their first year. And so it was kind of one of these improv troupes where we would do a scene, freeze halfway, bring in the students, and then have them figure out how to get out of this scenario.
Okay.
And it was really cool. And
So that sounds like one of those corporate exercises, like on how to handle irate customers.
Sure.
They'll have an actor come in and pretend to be an irate customer, and then they'll have the manager come in and try to like diffuse the situation.
Yeah. So it was something similar to that. And that was one of the things that just fueled me to go on and just keep doing it. But like you said, it's always this thing of you do the thing, and then there's these people who are just like, oh, that's dope. The smile, the laugh, whatever it is.
I think my first foray into entertainment was in elementary school. We did a play. We did the elementary school version of The Wiz, which was the Michael Jackson version of The Wizard of Oz. And I didn't even have a role when we first did it. I was the Yellow Brick Road. So as soon as they start singing, "Come on and ease on down the road," I would come in with like a cardboard, dressed up like the Yellow Brick Road, and then like all the other characters would have to follow me around.
Yeah.
So I was on stage the whole time as the Road, and then after a couple of more performances, like they ended up having me play the Scarecrow, and I had a jolly good time. And then like a lot of the parents came up to me afterwards, like after then they were like, "Oh, you were so good, you were so funny, you should become a professional actor." I'm like what, like 6, 7 years old, so my head went like this, but I didn't pursue it. And I think I started to kind of pursue it in high school, where I was cutting a lot of classes, but instead of like going away and doing God knows what, I was hanging out with my friends in front of the school.
Yeah.
So we would cut class just to hang out in front of the school. And then the drama teacher, Mr. Holman, shout out to Thomas Holman, Walton High School, caught me out there hanging out in front of the school. Like I think I was being like a clown or something. And he tells me, "Oh, you're really entertaining. You should join a drama club." And then he gives me all the information for the drama club after school, and I go visit it. And I ended up really enjoying it. I performed Edgar Allan Poe stuff on stage. I did The Raven. I did The Glass Menagerie. I was the gentleman caller in high school. So, that was like my first like real taste of it. But then, things happened after high school where I couldn't pursue it. I had to, go get a real job and, do the whole family thing for a bit. And it wasn't until like I was almost 30 that I decided to go back into it. And the way that I went back into it was hilarious. So the building on 43rd Street where CNC was, I was going to one of the other floors for an appointment. I don't remember what the appointment was for, but I finished the appointment, and then the elevator's coming down. And then the elevator's open. I see a bunch of actors out in the hallway. I see castings and classes, and I see Jagger there, and I see everybody doing scenes. And then I'm like, damn, I want to do that. So I get out on the elevator and I go up to Jack. I was like, hey, how do I get involved in this? And then he gives me the information. You have to audition for me. And he gave me a scene, and I auditioned for him and started signing up for classes. And then the rest was kind of history from there.
And now, major feature film with some really dope actors, all of whose work I'm really on board with. I dig their work, and that's gonna be a really good time for you. And so, yeah, it's cool to hear that to this.
I mean, when I get there on set, I'm just gonna try to soak up as much knowledge as I can.
That's it.
Just enjoy the experience.
Game.
Mm-hmm.
My man.
My man.
That's it. That's a good way. That's a perfect way to end it. Just soak up the experience, and we appreciate y'all because straight up can't do this without y'all. So thank you very much.
So everybody out there, you guys got it too sweet me too. Too sweet.
Bet. We're going to end it on that. I'm Kwabena and Pofo.
And I'm Angelo Mercado.
With the Rogue Actors. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate y'all. Catch you on the next one. Peace.